So when you were younger, so maybe less than 13, 14 years old, I want you to think about if you used to play video games. I want you to think about how that felt. So when you were playing video games, it felt pretty wholesome, right? Because you were probably doing it with friends. It was such a relaxing experience, kind of, you know, I think like the colors in the world just felt brighter and more vibrant when you were this age playing these video games with your friends. It just felt so wholesome, right? Especially if you're my age. I'm 19 years old right now. So when I played video games, I was in the COVID time. I was in 8th grade during COVID. And since we had school online, me and my friends would just play video games all fucking day. We wouldn't pay attention in class, like really. We'd kind of like half pay attention, but like during class, we would just boot up Minecraft and just play like Sky Wars or Bed Wars or, whatever the hell was there. I mean, I was a sweat at Bridge Duels on Hypixel. I still remember that. And we used to play hours every day. So fast forwarding to around sophomore year, I didn't really play video games anymore. I kind of stopped playing video games at around 10th grade. And I thought that was pretty normal, right? But there are some of my friends who still to this day play video games for hours a day. Even in college, I have some friends that play 4 or 5 hours every day, stay up until like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. playing video games. And I don't mean to disrespect these people, but I could not imagine doing that, honestly. Staying up until 2 a.m., 3 a.m. playing video games. Back then when we were younger, it felt nice to do that. And it felt nice to stay up past our bedtime. It'd be kind of cool, right? Like, oh, I don't have to go to sleep at 11 today. Oh, my parents are asleep. We can play video games, stuff like that. I never really did that, honestly, like played video games after my parents fell asleep. But I'm sure there's maybe one time I did that. And it was just nice being able to, skip the bedtime, get up later the next day, and just enjoy the day overall. We'd play video games again, right? And it felt good back then, but then after that, staying up until 3 a.m. probably doesn't feel good anymore. I want you to think about it yourself. If you're the type of person that still plays video games every single day, it probably doesn't feel as good as it used to, right? I mean, maybe it feels good, kind of, because that's why you're still playing it. But it probably doesn't feel as good as it used to when you were playing with your friends and you guys were kind of trash at the game, but it would be kind of fun because you guys would be, playing it together, right? And now you're playing it by yourself. You're probably more advanced in the game. You're probably like a higher level, some fucking higher tier, whatever the fuck, right? And it's not fun anymore, really. It's not like super fun anymore. You're kind of just grinding to get up the rank. And that's because of your masculine desire for status, but we'll talk about that later. And I wonder why, right? You probably wonder why. Like, why does it feel bad now? Why does it feel like not so good anymore? Because everyone around you is probably telling you to stop playing video games, but you're not stopping. You're still playing every day. And maybe you're the type of person like me who stopped playing video games in the middle of high school just because it just kind of felt weird to do it. No one else was doing it anymore. But if you're still the type of person that plays video games, I want you to think like, why do you still play it? Why is it that you're still like kind of like playing these games still that are for children? And I think the reason is because it doesn't sound like super connected, but because your parents have convinced you towards a path of life that is very traditional for them, but it doesn't really suit your needs. And it's that you should go to school, go to college, get a job, just one job, and then work it till you die. I mean, you retire and then you die, right? That's the path of life that your parents probably followed, right? You should get a job right after college, just at college, do those internships, do those co-ops, and then get one job, just work it. Maybe you're going to switch jobs sometimes, right? But you're probably going to stay in the same field because you have like a a major in college, right? A degree in college, a college degree that is specifically in one field. Like if you have a BS in anthropology degree, you're probably gonna become like probably like you might do pre-med, right? Or you might become like an anthropologist or something like that. If you have a BA in what, like fucking art history, I don't even know what you're gonna do with that, but like, you know, something, right? Probably become like an art history teacher. I don't know, something like that. So you're gonna get a degree in something very specific. Probably, right? Because you need to major in something. Or you can do that whole like fucking like, I want to make my own major shit. Like you can do that too. But like I'm talking about like just generally in college, it's kind of like you're preparing for a specific path that you want to go down. And you kind of have to know what you want to do. And then you're going to get a job in that field because your degree relates to that field. And then you're going to have that job and you're going to work it. And you're going to switch between jobs, but they're going to be kind of similar. Just one pays higher. So you switch to that job. That's what's going to happen for the rest of your life. And there's probably something within you that doesn't really like that idea. There's probably something within you that's kind of rejecting that idea. And that's like the masculinity inside you because you don't feel like that's the right way to go about life. And this way of going about life, thinking like this, the way that your parents have taught you, is the reason why you feel so pushed towards playing video games. And it doesn't make sense at all, but I'll tell you why. When you're pushing off your purpose, the purpose that kind of drives you as a man, the purpose that is in you, but you don't really know what it is yet. When you're not actively making progress towards that purpose, and you're kind of just doing something that's, you know, it's probably higher paying or something like that. Or maybe your dad told you to do it, to major in this subject, to get a degree in this, get a job in this. Maybe you kind of know what you want to do, but it's just so like mainstream. It's kind of like you like computer science, you like coding, you like programming. So you're just going to become an IT developer. You're going to become that. But something within you is just not like, it's like good because you kind of like it, right? You kind of like programming, but it doesn't feel so fulfilling like you want to do it forever. There's something within you that just feels like maybe this isn't like what I'm supposed to do. Like maybe not. Maybe what I actually want to do is maybe do something else, like join the Air Force, join the military. I don't know, join the fucking, you know, go to military school. Maybe you want to do that. Maybe something within you is saying like, I want to fight for my country. I want to do something bigger than just like sitting at a computer and coding. Maybe you're thinking like that, but your parents won't allow it, right? Because they don't want you to get hurt. And they also don't want you to like change your mind so much. They'll be like, oh, why are you changing your mind so much, bro? Like, just stick one subject and just stick with it forever. Why are you like changing your mind? Like going from this to that, to this to that. And I used to be against it too. I used to be like, you know, I'd talk to guys who were like switching their major. And they're switching their major so much that the average time it takes to finish college is 6 years. If you didn't know that, you can search it up right now. The average time it takes for a student to finish college is 6 years. And the main reason is because of switching their major. They want to explore a new field, right? They want to find a new passion, perhaps. Maybe their passion has changed. I used to think that was weird. I used to be like, you know, why are you wasting time like in college 6 years? And it probably is a waste of time on some degree, right? I don't know my fucking mouth, bro. Early in the morning, my mouth is dry, bro. All right. Oh, holy shit. I used to make fun of these students, like saying, like, why are you wasting time in college, like doing this major than that major? Why do you keep switching? And I understand now it's because that's natural, actually. It's natural for our minds to get bored of things. We get used to things very fast, and then when we're in it enough, we want to switch to another thing. That's very natural. And I think that one of the main reasons that you're still stuck playing video games, stuck in these bad habits that felt kind of good when you were younger, like eating candy and fucking ice cream and cakes and playing video games and watching TV and anime and all this shit. It felt good when you were kids, but it doesn't feel good anymore because your purpose has shifted. Your purpose has changed. When you were a little kid, your purpose was kind of like just, let's chase pleasure. Let's do what feels good now. let's just have fun. Let's enjoy life. When you're a little kid, that's kind of how it feels, right? Let's just go to the park and play some fucking tennis. Let's sit at home and play video games all night. Why not? That's gonna be fun, right? When you're a little kid, it feels good to do these things, but when you're older, it doesn't feel as good anymore, and it's because your purpose has shifted from video games to something bigger, something that's closer, more relevant to your deepest purpose. But the reason that you're still stuck on these old habits is because you haven't adopted the mindset of changing everything in your life. You haven't adopted the mindset of being able to change what you do with your life. Your parents probably have like convinced you to kind of just do one thing, just stick with one path and go down it. Because of that same mindset, stick with one path and go down it. Don't switch around, even though like that's what you need to do as a man to find your deepest purpose. Since you haven't been switching around like so much, you kind of stuck with one thing. You're like, I want to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this because, it's safer, it's nicer. It's, like just one path and I don't have to waste time or anything. The problem with that is that you end up like sticking with the same habits you did when you were younger. The guys who probably stayed CS forever and they didn't really think about anything outside of that, maybe they could do something else. Maybe their heart is trying to go somewhere else, right? It sounds kind of cringy, right? But it's true. Maybe you've wanted to do CS forever, and that's fine. Then it's not a big deal. But if you're still playing video games, there's a chance that your heart wants to go somewhere else, but you're kind of holding it back from going there because you're scared of safety. Your parents are fucking scared. Like your fucking parents have a say in your life. You're a fucking man. Your parents don't have a say in shit. At some age, I'd say around 14, your parents shouldn't really have that much of an influence. They should have raised you by then to make decisions by yourself instead of kind of helicoptering around you all the time. So there's a chapter in the book of The Way of the Superior Man by David Ida I want to talk about. And it's very relevant to this. I'm just going to find the chapter. Okay, here it is. So as you open yourself to living at your edge, your deepest purpose will slowly begin to make itself known. In the meantime, you will experience layer after layer of purposes, each one getting closer and closer to the fullness of your deepest purpose. It is as if your deepest purpose is at the center of your being. It is surrounded by layers of concentric circles, each circle being a lesser purpose. Your life consists of penetrating each circle from the outside towards the center. So basically, right, as a man, you have layers of purposes inside you that you need to kind of penetrate through each one to find your deepest inner purpose, like what you actually want to do with your life. That's what this book is saying. And the problem is a lot of men won't do this process of penetrating each layer. They're kind of they're gonna stop at like the first layer. So if your dad wants you to be a computer engineer, you're gonna be like, okay, well, I'm gonna be a computer engineer because my daddy said so. So that's your outer circle of purposes. And most people will stick with that outer circle forever. They won't even get down one fucking layer before they die. That's the problem. That's why so many people feel so misdirected in life. Example, me, I also feel very misdirected in life because I used to be a pre-med student, switched to business. We're kind of fucking around, right? There's deepest purposes in every single one of you men out there that are watching this video right fucking now. You have a purpose that's deep inside you, but you haven't figured it out yet, and you feel like it's sinful or something, like there's something wrong with doing multiple different things and changing over and over again to find that purpose, even though that's completely natural. In the book, he says it himself, right? You're going to have to penetrate through each layer of slightly less relevant purposes, and it gets more and more relevant to your deepest purpose as you get to the center. But your parents have probably not read this fucking book or any book on masculinity. Your father probably hasn't read a single book on masculinity, and he thinks that whatever he says is correct. He'll tell you like, oh, well, you don't, no, that's stupid. That's Matrix bullshit, right? He's in the fucking Matrix. He's here thinking that the outermost purpose is the only purpose you should have for the rest of your life. That's absolutely not true. You're supposed to switch between different things. If you do what your heart is kind of wanting you to do right now, because as a man, you have that intuition, you have that that feeling like I want to do this right now. If you do it, that's probably the next layer of your purpose layers. Doing that would probably get you closer to your deepest purpose than if you just stuck with the same safe bullshit career that you don't even enjoy anymore. So my advice to you here is take action. If you feel like you just kind of want to try something, you want to do it, go do it now. You can't wait. Because you don't know how many fucking layers of purpose there are inside you. You don't know how many there are. You might have to tear through thousands to get to your deepest purpose. And you might be wondering, like, why the fuck would I even get to my deepest purpose? Like, maybe it's just gonna be some bullshit. Like, what if it's like in like the book he says, like, imagine your deepest purpose was actually to be to be like a monk meditating in the forest. Maybe you're wondering, like, why the fuck would I even want to get to that point? The reason is because your deepest purpose will kind of fulfill you more than anything else ever could. And it doesn't seem like it could, right? Because like right now, meditating in the forest probably doesn't seem like something you want to do. Maybe you want to, but if you don't want to do it, it's not going to seem like it, right? You're going to be like, well, why the fuck would I want to go into a forest and meditate for life? Right? But think about how you used to feel if you quit video games, think about how you used to feel back then. What? Would you be like, oh, I want to quit video games? No, you'd be like, no, why would I stop playing video games? It's fun. It's fun. It's entertaining. I'm playing with friends. We're having a good time. You used to think that same way. You used to think exactly like that, right? You're not going to think like while you're playing video games when you're a young kid. You're going to be like, oh, I'm going to quit this at some point. You're not going to be thinking that. Same way, you're not going to feel like your deepest purpose is good for you right now. Because right now, you're not at that layer yet. You haven't got to that layer. But your heart is definitely pushing you towards one of the layers, the next layer in your concentric circles. Right now, you're probably at the most outermost layer, maybe like the second layer. But there's like hundreds to go through. Maybe not hundreds, maybe like 100. I don't know. I don't know how many layers like there actually are, but I think it's worth penetrating through each one and finding out. It's important to do what interests you. I was talking with my girlfriend and she wants to be a doctor, but she's also interested in like other activities like drama and theater. And I just remember like, yeah, I was quite like discouraging towards her like doing like theater and drama because I was like, it's not really relevant to pre-med. It's not really relevant to like what you want to do with your life. But then I realized that's like such a fucking narrow viewpoint. Such a narrow fucking retarded viewpoint. To think that like you shouldn't really do what you actually want to do. Really, like you shouldn't do what you actually like. Instead, just stick with one purpose. Stick with one like activity that you focus on and center all your things around just one thing. You don't have to do that. It's completely fine to just do what like your fucking heart is telling you, like, I'm gonna do this. Maybe it's the wrong thing. Maybe you won't end up actually doing that forever. That's like one of the biggest fears, right, of your parents. They're like, what if you join like the fucking Air Force and then you don't like it after 3 months and you switch again? What about that? You know, it's gonna be scary. Some people are just pussies. Your parents are probably just pussies. Honestly, I don't mean to disrespect your parents, but I can say that because they're not my parents. Your parents are probably just fucking pussies. They're scared of you like having like a little bit of change in life. You're a fucking man. Have some balls and change your life. Absolutely. Have some balls and change your environment. Change what you do with your life. Change everything. If it's going to bring you towards your deepest purpose, it's absolutely worth it. But of course, your parents won't really like vibe with that because they're not part of this community. They're not really on the self-improvement masculinity like arc or anything. So I understand if your parents are like kind of hesitant about this. But you have to like ask yourself at the end of the day, you are a fucking man with 2 balls and a dick. And at some point you have to understand like, you know, you shouldn't be listening to mommy and daddy anymore. After some time, like you have like, I don't want to say like too much. I sound like a bitch. You have an intuition that is developed inside of you. You have an intuition that's developed inside of you to go pursue greater things than what your parents are trying to push you towards. And it's up to you to figure that out for yourself and take the action to do the thing that your heart is actually telling you to do. The thing that you kind of feel like, I feel kind of fucking pumped if I would do that. Right? I would feel kind of good about myself if I did that. Yeah, I would feel like pretty happy if I was doing that. Maybe I'll get bored after 3 months because our brain gets used to stuff pretty quick, right? But that's completely okay. That was a layer of our big fucking hot potato of purposes that we had to get rid of. We had to get through. Only then will we reach our deepest purpose. But you won't reach your deepest purpose staying where you are right now. You won't. Because chances are you're like young like me, or like 18, 19, 17, 16, 15, maybe like fucking teenager, right? Especially if you're on the younger side of things, you have not made it close to your deepest purpose. So don't sit here and think like, if I just stay at where I am right now, that's fine. It's not. You're not even close to your deepest purpose yet. And it's up to you to take action on the thing that's actually driving you at the moment. The thing that's kind of like your own soul is pushing you towards. What is that thing? Maybe it's like fucking auditioning for America's Got Talent or some shit. I don't know. I have no idea. It could be making YouTube videos. It could be fucking trying to become an NBA player, joining the military, trying to become a big actor, something like that. It could be something like that, right? But those things are often looked down upon in our society because it's not safe enough. It's like kind of like a dropout quality like paths to go on, right? That your parents don't want you going down those paths, and especially more than they don't want you going down those paths, they probably don't want you to change your mind too much. But that's a part of life, and that's what you need to do to get to your deepest purpose. This video won't change your life. You will. Nice. Just raw dog that whole video.